Branding your business is one thing, but having a personal brand is another. And there's one guest I'm super excited to talk to that I think embodies that perfectly. Her name is Nori, and I'm going to be picking her brain today about what it's like for her to be in film, writing, and radio. Have a listen. Hey, lady.
Hey.
How are you?
I am wonderful.
You look great.
Get out of my head, because I was about to say, you look good, sis.
You know, we got to hype each other up before we do
All
anything.
the time. All the time.
It's the pink for me.
You know, it's part of my DNA now.
I love it. I love it. So I want to jump right in. I'm really excited to talk with you because obviously we're friends, but also I'm just a huge admirer of your career and everything that you've done. And so I had a lot of fun digging into your background and doing my research. So my first question that I have for you is your ability to move so fluidly between radio, writing, and film. They're very different mediums, but they have that through line of storytelling. Mm-hmm. For you though, like what do you feel like connects all of those dots and makes it really so seamless for you to just kind of like bounce between them?
I think it's the people. I just love people, and I love being able to share their stories and then intertwine my experiences with their experiences and how it all relates and how it all complements each other. Whether you have been through a struggle, whether you have lived a privileged life, or whether you have had a little bit of both of them, right? All of it is a part of who you are. It's a part of your story, but it's a part of your narrative, and it's real and it's authentic. And I think when we get into treating people like humans and understanding that, you know, the struggle, no matter where that struggle lies, it connects people. Then I think that's what it's about for me. Ultimately, what I have learned, especially now that I am an adult and I am no longer in a child's role, I understand my parents more. I understand why they got divorced. I understand the importance of communication. I understand the story we tell ourselves versus the reality of what actually happened. And so it allows me to have a different level of empathy for people, for my parents, for my family, for my friends, for strangers. And so I think that's what connects it for me.
I love that. I love that. When you first stepped into radio, what about that medium caught your attention in particular? I'm assuming that it's because you literally get to start and end your day with people, quite frankly, and they become like extended family in a way. They get used to hearing your voice, and you kind of become a really important part of their day. But for you, like, what did you initially just really love about it?
Gosh, I love talking.
Well,
I love to talk. And I was like, how can I get paid for talking? But also, how can I do it in a way that is laid back and fun and not stressful? And so with radio, you don't have to dress up for anybody unless you just want to dress up for yourself.
You want to feel good.
But it's about how you sound versus how you look. So baby, I have been at that radio station throwing up, not feeling well, sick as a dog, and pop on.
Turn it on.
And you know, and so it really is about, again, kind of stepping away from self and having some fun outside of yourself with the music, because the music is storytelling. And then just, you know, giving away prizes. You make somebody day. A $50 gift card could be the difference between somebody having a meal, not having a meal, concert tickets, having fun, not having fun. And so, like, all of those elements, tying it together is just, it's a lot of fun. And I think sometimes when life is lifing, I get to step outside of that and just go to work and just have some fun and turn the music up loud in the studio. So it has a few dualities for me.
I love it. I never really thought about, I guess, the way that you kind of get to step inside of, maybe not like an alter ego of yourself, but you know how like Beyonce has that Sasha Fierce. It sounds like you have your own persona that you kind of come into, that you've crafted to kind of help you get through even rough moments in your life, to be able to do your job and do it well. But I love that you just like, honey, I like talking. And and so I just love that I get to be paid and to talk to folks. And we're outside, so the rustling is really just squirrels.
Yes, girl.
So, you know, if
as long as one don't jump on me,
we both gonna be out if that happens, but don't worry. So diving into radio a little bit more, it's evolved a lot since your days at Power 94 in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yes, it
so,
is.
you know, live broadcasts to on-demand, algorithm-driven content. How are you maintaining connection at this time where it feels like people's attention spans are really short and quite frankly fragmented. We're pulled in a lot of different directions. And even as someone that's aware of that, being, in the field of marketing myself, I still even have to catch myself being mindful of like what I'm giving attention to. How are you handling that right now?
Get there fast, tell the story quickly, the meat and potatoes of it all. That's the way I like to describe it. It is, baby.
They having a field day.
Okay.
They said Nori is here and we coming out to play.
Hello. I think for me though, it is what is the most important thing that the listener needs to take away from this moment? Is it fact-based? Is it sourced? Where did I get the information from? Like, I like to stick to the truth of the matter. And then when I'm telling my opinion, I will let you know, hey, these are my thoughts on X, Y, and Z. And so being able to separate that and just being able to really and truly tell a story in 30 seconds. Like, people are into this micro phase of digesting information. I mean, even how TMZ is a news source that like is the first go-to outside of the Associated Press.
Yeah.
So, being able to get information, not necessarily first, but accurate, is important to me. And to share that information in a fun and whimsical and loving way, but also when I got to get serious, I get serious. Because Nori, the personality on the radio, is not Nora Moss that handles business and get contracts signed.
I know that's right.
So,
two different people.
Two different people, and people not ready for that.
I like that you talked about truth and also facts. I feel like that's also something that in the industry we're definitely dealing with a lot of right now is how do we make something fun, but also tell it in a truthful way and ground it in something that people are going to feel. What are like some of your hot tips, if you will, of how you have found a way to do that? Because it is an art to it. That is not easy to do.
Oh, well, I think that is a great question. For me, it is what is the most important thing that I can tell them about the information. And again, where did I get the information from? Because if they want to take a deeper dive, then I can source the information to them. So whether it's coming from People Magazine or it's coming from the Shade Room, which is now a credible source, or if it's coming directly from a gossip, rumor has it, this is what I heard on Beyonce's internet. Like, I'm always referencing that source, just again, so people understand that this is coming from a place. This isn't something that I just made up off the dome. And then again, if it is something that I am imagining and reimagining how something may have played out, I am very clear about that. And I think we are in a space where we're getting fed the news in a way that is very scary, in a way that is not the truth. It is, no, this is what I want you to know. And that is very scary in this day and era, that our amendments are being infringed upon and that free press is not free anymore. Like, I remember being online and seeing that across the country, different news outlets were reporting information using the same language. How is that possible?
How is that possible?
Unless your source is, I would say, maybe skewed. And it's being said, you have to say it this way.
This particular way.
And that is a problem. So we have to be careful, and we have to use critical thinking. We have to use our minds. We have to stretch ourselves. We have to be uncomfortable. We have to have uncomfortable conversations on air.
Do you find it hard to do that right now when it does feel like we're kind of going in the opposite direction, like to be that person that is conscious of that? Do you feel that weight, or is it like, I don't really, we got to show up the way that needs to be showed up, like the moment calls for me to do that versus whether or not I feel comfortable in that?
It is a huge responsibility to be a truth teller and to risk it all, so to speak. Because in this day and age, you can get a phone call, you can get an email, and you no longer have a job.
That's it.
That's why I tell people, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You better be multifaceted, multi-layered. We are not a monolithic people.
That's right.
So with that being said, the truth is the truth. And if that makes you uncomfortable, that's your fault.
That part. Speaking of the truth and being fed certain information and sources, I want to pick your brain about AI.
Ooh, okay.
And technology and the ways that you see that showing up in your industry in particular, how that's also shaping and shifting how stories are told. I can pick up a ChatGPT real quick, girl. Like, I know when I'm reading something. And even for our traditional media, I'm like, I really want y'all to like use the degree, not like necessarily the AI. But like for you, do you see those tools at all as competition? Do you see it as like just a really great way for collaboration, or is it like that's just part of the times and where we are, and I'm gonna rock with it because I know that that's kind of what's prevalent right now?
I'm happy that you brought this up because this is something that has been on my mental for a while. I love ChatGPT as an enhancer. How can I say this more eloquently? Because sometimes I'm like, per my last email,
I said,
you know,
what I said.
Yeah. So I'll beef it up that way. But you have to be able to utilize your brain and to be creative and use your imagination and be able to pull from who you are, your essence, your voice. I think that's what's so important. The scary thing about AI is that they now, even in contracts, and I'll say this, blankets is a blanket statement. Even in the communication space, in contracts, you have to be careful because they are now trying to duplicate your likeness, your image, your voice, and not have you be compensated for that down the line. And so it is important to read all of the fine print. It is important to understand for yourself, how does this tool benefit for me? And you cannot take AI to be final. It is not. It is a tool. Use it as a tool, but do not become dependent on it, because I think that allows us to, again, get into a very shaky ground, a weird space with information and how we are disseminating information, because who runs ChatGPT?
Well, that part. And it's also pulling from what already exists, which means that it's taking from other works of art to then create something for you. So even though it is new to you, it's not completely new. And so you do have to be careful of that. But also going back to your first point about why you love the mediums you love, it's the humanity of it. And so like if we rely too much on AI and it becomes the thing that we use to create, then we do lose an essence, I think, of like what makes us as individuals special. I think just kind of, you talked about writing. One of the reasons I wrote a kids book is because kids, you have to let them imagine being astronauts, and you have to let them imagine what it is to care for people and to want to be a doctor, to want to look after people, to look after animals, to be a veterinarian. Like, these are things that people naturally lean into because it's something that they love and they aspire to be when they grow up. And now it's like, no, you have to do this, or you were good at this, and allow kids to be kids. And think for themselves, or maybe they want to try ballet, but then also they want to be a mechanical engineer. Like, you can do both. You can do both. Love that you talked about writing the children's book. We're going to get there. But the question I have for you before we do is, you are the brand. So why I was really excited to talk to you is because as part of this series, I've been talking to different business owners, and the last two entrepreneurs that I talked to, they have like physical businesses. A restaurant, a barber shop.
Oh, nice.
You are the brand. And so you're not in a physical location, which is why we're here. Actually in my backyard right now, which I think is great.
Love it here. Oh my gosh.
You take up space in the world, in different places of the world. You're not grounded in a specific place, which is why I wanted to do that here. But with your name and your work being so intertwined, I actually wanted to talk to you about, like, how do you manage or handle rejection when you are being told no, when there's a project you really wanted, when you are up for an award, or you know that you're qualified. You're like, I got this thing. There's no reason why this should not be hook, line, and sinker. How do you take that, being that it to me would feel like they're telling me no, or that I'm not good enough, versus if someone just doesn't want to go to my business, it's just not their cup of tea.
I think it takes a lot of being grounded in God and who you are, really and truly. Like, my personal relationship with God is all that I have and all that I know. And that keeps me together. It keeps me together. Because we are in a space, we just talk about the growth of the radio and how they have moved into celebrity culture. They have moved into influencer culture. And I struggled with that. I struggled with that.
Talk to me more about that. What was the struggle?
The struggle was, I went to school for this. I have degrees in this.
Yes.
I know the technical aspects. I can go to it's like riding a bike. I can go to any radio station in the world and I can run the board because I know the technical pieces of how to make everything move. It's, it's just, I know the details of it. I know how to run the software. Like, just give me the baseline and I'm good. I will figure it out because that's just a part of what it is when you learn the skill and you develop the skill. And then you have people that once they get into the role, they realize, oh, this is technique. Oh, you're not just throwing sentences together. It is a way, it's a rhythm, it's a flow. Like, we say this because this makes sense. We have to say the call letters to the station because you have to remind people what they're listening to. Like, we do these things. We have our position statements. We have our cadence of how we deliver information, the tone of your voice, all of that matters because that allows people to be drawn into you and to want to hear what you're saying and what you're talking about. And so when you get into those things and you are working with someone new in the space, either one or two things going to happen. Either you are going to have the empathy and the love for what you do to want to share that with someone and say, hey, let's get this right together. Or you're going to be mad that they got a position that you are more qualified for, so to speak. Because I never want to take away from anyone else's experience, and what God bless people with is what he blessed people with.
That part.
But also, okay, what does this collaboration look like? Because you coming from your lens, I'm coming from my lens, and the vision got to match up of where we're going.
And two things, to your point, can be true. We can be students of our craft and have gotten degrees in this and spent years in this and have gotten our reps in. And also, there are newcomers in the industry that may have gotten there via a different path. And they have their own right and standing in the position that they're in. I like that you talked about celebrity culture and the way the industry has pivoted, what's exciting to people, what they're leaning into. How has that informed your personal brand and the way that you're putting yourself out there right now?
Well, for me, it is really just, okay, let me just maintain who I am in the thick of this. In all of this, which is I am fun and I am informative and
brilliant.
Thank you. I mean, but I have to stay excited about the work. I have to stay excited about the craft. It's evolving. And if I don't evolve, I'm going to get left behind. There are so many people in various spaces that just could not get on board with what's new and what's happening and what has arrived. And so then they become bitter. And nobody wants to work with somebody bitter.
This is true. And so how do you also continue evolving without losing yourself and also trying to take on attributes of the industry or what people seem to be gravitating towards, even if that's like not necessarily you?
Yeah, I just don't think it takes a lot to be kind. It doesn't take a lot to put yourself in another person's shoes. It just doesn't take a lot to do that. You just have to want to show up and connect with people intentionally. I think that's what it is. I think it takes intentionality, and then also, okay, hold on. This is what's popular. Not really my thing. But okay, how do I mesh it all together and make it make sense for me? I'm not a provocative person, and we have moved into this culture with women being very provocative and ass and titties out, right? And it's like that's not me. Now I might show a little thigh, but
poke that leg out every now and then.
Might show some toes, but how do I still show up and have my style and have how I want to show up in the world? And I think that's what's important. Like, sometimes you have to have a reset with yourself. And you have to have a little come to Jesus with yourself. Like, okay, hold on. It's a lot happening. I always say, I reference my friends. I'm like, hey, friend. And it's just something that I've just naturally done. I got it from one of my childhood friends. She always used to call me friend. And so I've adopted that. And then I was around a few other ladies and they say girl, like, hey, girl. And I felt myself just, yeah, girl. And I was like, I don't even say girl. I say
that's not me.
Yeah. And it was kind of like, no. What is my lingo? What is my language? How do I show up? How do I talk? How do I communicate? Because it's so easy to adopt other people's persona.
really
Like, it
is.
happens so fast.
Very easy.
And so for me, it was like, hold on. How do you show up in the world when you by yourself on this radio, when you are in the room by yourself, when you are making hard decisions, when you are processing, what does this look like for me?
Yeah.
And then I regroup and I'm ready.
Staying true in that.
Yeah.
I like that you mentioned that, because I feel like what you're really hitting on is the big thing about branding that I want people to understand is it's consistency.
Yes.
Like, you must show up in the world as consistently as you can, as authentically as yourself, or even rooted in your business as you can, because that's how people begin to understand who you are.
Yeah.
Right? It's like repetition. We need to see and hear things several times in order to really get it. So I like that you're basically just talking about, every time I'm coming back to myself, I'm being rooted in, who am I? How do I want to show up? Let me shake off some things that are not me.
Yeah.
And then the more that I continue to show up as myself, I'll start to attract the things and the people that are for me.
Yeah.
And then people, when they want to do certain projects or are interested in certain things, they know exactly who they want to go to. It's like, Nori. Nori is going to be this person. She's shown up this way. She's consistent. I know what I'm going to get from her. But when you are bouncing kind of from identity to identity, or from this piece of content to this, or you talking different ways, it can be hard for people to figure out, like, how do I then interact with you? Or, like, what is your brand at that point?
Because some people don't know what they're going to get from you.
Right.
They get the imposter. And a lot of people fall victim to the imposter syndrome. And it happens, and it's okay. But again, it's regrouping, recentering yourself. And I think for me as well, that staying grounded piece is really important. Just as you said, like, my brand is how I show up in the world. This is how I get contracts. This is how I'm able to, get the deals, or host this event, or get a recommendation, a character at the end of the day. Like, who is your true character, and is this really you? Because if you phony, you gonna fake for a little while, but that true face gonna show that other side.
Do you find that a lot of your opportunities come from who you're meeting as you're doing this work versus how people are being introduced to you via radio or TV? Like, has someone watched you on TV and been like, I want to work with her, or heard you on the radio and go, I'm intrigued? Or is it like, no, I met Nori at this event and she's pretty awesome, I would love to do more with her? I think people need to kind of understand that there are different ways that people get introduced to you as a brand. What have you kind of seen how are people gravitating towards you?
I've seen both. I think what's funny is there's a slight difference in how I talk on the radio versus how I talk just with my friends, like us hanging out. And I think the difference is people are like, oh my gosh, you're so nice. Like, you never said you were Nori. And it's like, nah, I'm just, girl.
This is me.
we just hanging out, having a good time, friend. Like,
Yeah.
what does it mean to walk into a room and people gravitate towards you because they just think you cool? They just think you a dope person, versus, oh, that's Nori, and now they want to be my friend. No, be my friend because you saw somebody that was cool. You was like, dang, we just really naturally connect, and it's not forced. I cannot do forced relationships. I think that's the other part. Like, it has to be organic and natural. If it fit, it fit, and if it don't, that's okay. Like, I am so cool with if it doesn't work out, because baby, let me tell you something. Sometimes you don't have to tell me no. I'm gonna tell you no.
Being okay with basically not being for everybody. That is a hard one.
It is, but it's such a beautiful life. It is so freeing to understand that, sometimes it's not gonna work out, and that's okay. That's in relationships, friendships, jobs. It don't matter. 100%. Sometimes it's just not a fit for you, and that's okay.
And that's okay. We're gonna go back to your book now. Bam!
I didn't know that book was there the whole time.
You wasn't supposed to. Okay, I had this in my back pocket.
Oh, wow.
Hold this for a second for the people, so as we talking, they can see it.
My little baby.
It's available on Amazon or wherever you get your books from.
It's true.
So every project adds a new layer to your brand.
Yeah.
How does this wonderful book fit into your story as Nori in the evolution of yourself and who you are? The bigger picture.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I think this is a perfect segue into people will tell you what you cannot do, but none of that matters, because what you have set your heart on you can do whatever you want to do. So technically a chicken can't fly, right? They say chickens can't fly. And it's because their little wings short. They got short wingspans. That's why they can't fly. They can't stay up in the air. But what I love is that, some random day I was online looking up birds, and I ran across an ayam Tsunami chicken. And it's based out of Indonesia, and it is a black bird, and it is black. I'm talking about inside out, heart, lungs.
Oh, wow.
Everything is black on this bird. It is so rare. And the wings are black, but just when they hit the glimmer of light, it's a little iridescent in their feathers. But I ran across this bird, and it is beautiful. Like, it is beautiful. And just the poise, the way the bird stands tall. Like, have you ever looked at a chicken walk for real? Like, I don't think people pay attention to these little birds, but they are so unique and so beautiful and so special. And this black bird is so rare that when I tell people about it, like, they're not a black chicken, and I'm like, it is.
I'm gonna look this up right after this.
So I'm telling you. So I wanted to have something that was black, but not necessarily just me telling the story of a little black girl or a little black boy. So I wanted to connect a little differently because we're like on this farm. There's horses and there's squirrels and all kind of little animals. And this chicken, Tsunami, she's on her little journey, and she's like, I want to fly. And everyone's telling her chickens can't fly, and she's like, I can. And there's a little sparrow in the book, and a sparrow is like a little mentor coach, because we all have somebody in our ear that can cheer us on, that inspires us, that uplifts us. So the little sparrow is telling this little chicken, like, you can fly. And they working out and they doing all the things, and the most unconventional thing happens. Tsunami flies because she's on a hang glider. So she's flying, and it's not in the sense of spreading her wings and flying, but she has figured out a way to make it happen even when the naysayer said you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And that's the genesis of this book, is to use your imagination, to get creative. There is always going to be something in life that happens that can slow you down, or there's a detour. There's always something or someone, and you have to figure it out. And I think just as a people, as black people, we have always figured it out. We have always been the first inventors. We are free thinkers. We don't let nothing steal our joy. In slavery, we singing. We design our braids to be trails. We put food in our hair. Like, we are such a masterful group of people. And so I wanted to tell a story that can connect with all people, but more specifically that little black boys and little girls can see this black bird and say, relate to that. What's happening here? Yeah. And connect in a different way. And everybody can take flight. And so there's also like a little short story on the back, embracing your unique flight. And it's just kind of a quick reminder to anybody, parents or whomever is reading the book, that, again, your uniqueness is a gift and not a curse. And then I wanted to add a piece of AI to this. So there's a QR code in the back. You can scan the QR code, and the book comes to life. And so you can see this animation in full circle, in full time, come to life. The interaction between myself, the character Nori, somebody, the chicken, my little friend, and just kind of how she goes through this journey of people telling her no, and then she takes flight. And so, I just wanted to connect technology, because it's important. It's happening. You better get on board. Technology, because kids are going to be on iPads and tablets and things, so they can kind of take that with them as well. So you have the physical book that's also a journal. The kids can write in it. They can write what they want to be when they grow up, and all the things, and it's kind of a keepsake. So it just kind of embodies quite a few things, and each of the animals within the story that you interact with are going to have their own spin-off story. So you'll see Tsunami, then you'll see the sparrow, you'll see the horse, you'll see the raccoon. Each little animal is going to have their own story.
I love that. And that even goes back to my earlier question about AI, when I asked you about ways, that you're interacting with it, or how you're seeing it kind of seep into your industry. This is a great example of, you can still use it to your advantage, but not let it be outside of what feels natural to you. I think you mesh that perfectly.
Thank
with
you.
Your brand and like the way that you see that really working for you to help tell this story.
Yeah.
I also want to ask you about Black Icarus. A film about addiction, fatherhood, and redemption. It's a powerful pivot in tone and audience from The Chicken That Could Fly. What drew you to tell that story emotionally, and how do you think that fits into your evolution as a storyteller to be able to do that project?
So I have to give props to the writer and director, Jimmy Thomas Jr. It is his life story. He actually is the character. In the film, his father dealt with addiction. Jimmy Thomas Sr., I mean, they are such a complex family of love, of empathy, of care, of insight. And so I told my friend, he is in the film space, he went to FAMU, and he he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to produce a film. And he was like, okay. We talked about a few other things and didn't think nothing else about it. So he attended MICA as well, the Film Institute in Baltimore. And so he was doing his film project, and he said, hey, you want to come on board as a producer with this film? And I was like, wait, what? I mean, I think I said it a month ago, sir. And so that's how I got involved with this project. We shot it in Florida, in his hometown, in his aunt's home.
Nice.
And just coming on as a producer, just learning to get funding for a film. We actually financed this film out of our pocket. They say don't do that, by the way. But we financed this film ourselves. It was a group of friends that came together to bring this story to life. Trey, he was a great addition as a main character. We know him from The Wire. And so having him bring this story to life was amazing. And it was something that was important. I think when we think about families, there are so many different variations of how we get to who we are. And a lot of people like to only put the highlights, as we see on social media, of their life. And the truth is that, sometimes we go through some dark times to get to who we are.
Yeah.
But that's the developmental process you didn't know you needed. And so this film just really, I remember reading the script and I was like, ooh, this is good. This is good. So it was really about telling a story of a family that have triumphed over all of the odds. Like, his father has been free of addiction for, I want to say, 20 years now.
That's amazing.
And him and his father didn't really talk until he was like 19 years old. And so that connection, and just understanding that, the layers of families and family secrets and dealing with addiction, those stories are just as important as the stories of Baldwin Hills, And so it was just something different to connect with. We want to turn it into a feature film. We did win a few awards when we did the film festival circuit, which is great.
Well, yeah, because I was going to ask you about marketing it. So you mentioned that it was self-funded. Kudos to you all for pulling that off. That is not easy to do. But when it came to then having to get the word out about the film, I'm imagining that you all probably leveraged your own personal brands with that too. But what else did you all do? What other avenues did you all kind of look into in order to really get the attention brought to that film that it needed?
I think it was really about connecting with other independent film directors and cinematographers and people that see a vision outside of what you see for yourself. And so screening the films at these various locations allowed for us to get really great feedback. I would have developed this character more. I would have liked to see more of this piece of the story told more. And so you take all of that and then you prepare what the script is going to be for the feature film. Now, Jimmy, this is his baby. So I am supporting character in all the things that he wants to do with this film. But then it's just finding the time to keep the film alive. I think it's like music, like Doechii. One of her songs came out. She recorded this song, 2020 in her bedroom. I think it was Anxiety or something, one of the songs that she put out. And we got it in 2024, 2025, and it becomes this big sensation. And it's like that with film as well. Like, there are layers to doing film. So you'll have the short film version, you'll have the feature film version, and then Denzel decides to Denzel decides to pick it up and produce the film.
He hear you.
And we get to be co-producers on this Black Icarus film, and then it becomes something else completely.
The evolution
but it's still the essence of this man's experience with his father.
Yeah. And
so it's making sure you keep that authentic piece, that piece of humanity, that connection of how they are telling their story. I mean, one of the things that we're doing is also shopping this film to prisons, because he is not only overcome addiction, but he's sharing his story with other people who have gone to jail, unfortunately. And that was kind of a turning point of like, all right, let me get it together, because I'm never going to see my family again if I keep down this path, or I'm going to die. And so we love a good redemption story.
I love that. And I really like that you talked about having to keep your art alive. I do think that sometimes we focus so much on how quickly content can be consumed that we're not thinking about, how do I continue to get this one piece of content out there over and over again, because it's going to reach new people every time. And we as creators, as entrepreneurs and business owners, we can't think that like this one piece of content we're doing isn't going to have life after we put it out there. We should be creating things that are going to have wings and fly and do other things. As you're thinking about your personal brand and where you are in your career, how do you feel about your evolution thus far, and ultimately where you want to keep going? I think you have been hugely successful, but I want to know how you feel about your success. Have you arrived? Do you feel like you're just scratching the surface?
Man, it's so funny because this version of me is not who I imagined I would be. I am so different than what I thought my story would be at this particular point in time. I think the wife version of me is going to be different. The mother version of me is going to be different. The auntie version of me is different, you know? And so as I grow and I keep this vision of myself, I don't lose like the vision of where I want to be, who I want to be, how I want to continue to grow. But I think the way that I get there is different. It's a different road. It's a different journey than I ever expected. And so I am pleased with who I am and where I'm going. It's a good place. And there are moments that, you know, you have the highs and lows. But right now I'm just in a very good place, and I sit in gratefulness. I am so thankful.
That's a bar right there. And you know what? Gratefulness is important. There's so many things that are always happening in our lives and in the world. And I was chatting earlier and telling someone that it's so easy looking online and to envy what other people have and to see yourself in their life, and it looks so perfect and it's so great. And the reality is that like we should just water our own gardens and just be really, really grounded and grateful in what we have. I'm super proud of you, and I love being.
I'm proud of you.
Well, you know what?
This is good, girl.
I received that. Thank you. But thank you so much for just continuing to champion us as creatives, for giving us as creatives to a space to be able to share our art. That's what you're doing in your writing, and you're producing on the radio. I love that you've met so many different artists from LMI and these big names, but you're still so grounded, and you are so ready to give opportunity to the little folks.
You're gonna make me cry.
Even like me. So I just want to give you your flowers and tell you that like I think your story is one that absolutely deserves to continue being told, and this is just like one platform that I'm happy to be able to do that. So thank you for being part of the series, girl.
Thank you for allowing me, friend. Like this is good. Like you are going places, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. I cannot wait to see what's next for you.
I receive it.
Yes, it's good.
Thank you. Give me a hug. Give me a hug.
Oh gosh. This is so good.
And I gave you that book, but that's mine. So
okay.
That's
Understood.
That's going on my shelf.
Yes.
I'm gonna find